What's up, guys? Welcome back to my corner. So today's video is going to be so different than anything I've ever done, and I'm actually very excited about it. So I want to start a new segment, if you will, on my channel. Now I know that nobody watches me, and the couple of you that do interact with me on my channel, I appreciate you more than the sun reaches the earth. But I really want to try to expand my audience, and I don't really do much, and I want to try and do more. Yes, I really do want to share my mental health journey on here because I really do want that to be a pivotal thing that I do on my channel to kind of help interact with other people struggling so I don't feel alone, so you out there struggling with mental health don't feel alone. That's what my main focus is on my channel. But the other day I was sitting there thinking, what else can I do on my channel to maybe reach further out and kind of grab some more people to come to my channel. And Grey's Anatomy was the first two words to come to my mind. Grey's Anatomy is my favorite show. I have a lot of favorite shows, but Grey's Anatomy is my all-time favorite. Everything about it, I've rewatched it 5 times. I listen to it at night when I go to bed every night. It's just my show. I looked up all the spoilers whenever I was into it. I used to stalk all the real life people on social media because I just had to know their real names in real life. You never pick out people and you're just say April, for instance, from Grey's Anatomy, and her character's name is April in the show, and you're she looks like an April, but what is her, I just always interested what their names are in real life because I feel like their names actually look like their characters' names. I don't know. If you ever look at somebody and think they look like a name that they're not? I don't know if that made sense. I really hope it did. I want to do a segment on my channel where we break down episodes of Grey's Anatomy, or we break down just different things about Grey's. In today's video, we're going to break down the 5 original interns, kind of their relationships they had, and just my thoughts on that. I just wanted to start it with something simple and easy, kind of just see how well this segment does. I'm hoping to do a part 2 to this because we're not doing all of Grey's Anatomy, the show's relationships. We're just going to start with the 5 interns because I got to do a little bit more research because, yes, I've rewatched the show a million times, but you got to remember there's 101,000 seasons, so it's hard to keep up and remember all the little things going on, even though I've rewatched it 100 times. But today we're going to break down the 5 interns' relationships. I might forget some things. I'm only human, but that's why I'm doing it with you guys, so you guys can let me know what I forgot below. So if this is your first time watching me, welcome to my channel. And if you watch Grey's Anatomy, join in. If you're currently watching Grey's, or you plan on watching it and you haven't started it, then you probably shouldn't watch this segment because it's going to give a lot of spoilers. If you don't care to have spoilers, come on in. But if you've finished the show or you're caught up and you're on the current season, then let's talk about it, because I don't relate. Nobody in my life watches Grey's and can talk to me about it. We don't have discussions, so I figured why not do it through my YouTube channel. I can find people who like the show as much as me. We could talk about it. We could create a whole group of people. We just talk about the show. Let's start with Grey's Anatomy, the 5 original interns' relationships. So that would be Christina, George, Meredith, Alex, and Izzy. First, we have to pick who our favorites are out of the 5 anyway. I feel like it's choosing your favorite child, but I feel like I would rank them. It would probably be, for me, my favorites would go from Christina to Meredith to Izzy to George to Alex. In the beginning of the show. It could change later on in the show, but we're going to just leave Alex last for the beginning of the show. Because if you watch Grey's, you know that Alex was not the coolest guy in the beginning of the show. I honestly, unpopular opinion, used to hate Meredith. I used to really hate her character. She used to annoy me, but I've grown to love her, especially because she's the only one left on the show. Oops, spoiler. Alright, so we're gonna start with Izzy and Alex. Now, I actually really loved them together. I know that Alex kind of treated her wrong and he cheated on her a lot, and there was that one episode where he wouldn't kiss her or whatever, but I really did like them together. And in season 6, or was it 5? It was 5, when they had their little situation when she got sick and all that. I really liked that they did that because they knew that the person playing Izzy was going to be leaving the show, and I feel like they gave the fans what the fans wanted, and we all wanted Alex and Izzy to be together. So they gave us that. At least I did. I don't know about everybody else. I know some people said they didn't like Izzy, but That's everybody's personal preference. But Izzy and Alex, I actually really did like them together. I think that Izzy was good for Alex. I think they were really good together. I really liked the relationship. I shipped it very hard. So yeah. And then Izzy and Denny ? Because I never really understood Izzy and Denny's situation. It's like, were they together? I always thought it was just a joke that they were engaged or that they were even dating. I thought she just kind of like was hyping up his fantasy of being with her because she knew like he was going to die one day, or that he could die, and she was just trying to like make him feel more comfortable in the hospital, as doctors should. Obviously she crossed a lot of lines with that whole situation, but to me, I didn't even rewatching it back, it's like I never got the sense that they were dating. It was just like playfulness. And then she had this whole thing with the LVAD and all that go down, and then she said her fiance died, and she went on to kept telling people her fiance died, and it's like I never really kept up with that situation. So is Izzy and Denny considered one of the relationships of Grey's Anatomy? I don't even know. In my mind, I don't really consider it one because I never understood it, but I don't know. So I just want everybody to know, this is me editing. Do you like my hair? I just want everybody to know that I kept saying Nurse Rose because I swore that was her name. This is why I need to do more. I'm going to do more research before I do another episode or another video for this. It was Nurse Olivia with the red hair. I don't know why I thought her name was Rose. There is a Nurse Rose that like Derek messes around with later on in the show, but I definitely meant Nurse Olivia, and I was like thinking the whole time that doesn't sound right, and then I had a realization I was wrong the whole time. So please try to get past that for this part of the video. Thank you very much. Okay, continue watching. The next relationship, which I'm pretty sure they were like together, but I don't know, was Alex and the Nurse Rose. I don't really know if they were really ever exclusive, but I know that he gave her syphilis, so it is what it is. Or it could have been the other way around. I don't remember how that whole situation went, but I'm pretty sure it was Alex that gave it to her because, you know, he's the one that was always doing stuff. But I'm pretty sure they were like dating, or they might have just been messing around, but I'm pretty sure Alex and Nurse Rose were like a thing for a few episodes. I don't know. Or it was just kind of like a known thing for a while. Alex was like the Mark of the early seasons, where he was just like making his rounds to the people. So if you consider Alex and Rose a couple, I kind of do. George and Callie. I was not a fan of this relationship. I'm going to be completely honest. And there's a couple other relationships that we're not going to talk about in this video that were not my favorite. But George and Callie, no. Hated it. I just didn't feel like they were compatible. Like, I don't know. And obviously, Callie ended up finding herself and discovered other things about herself in the show. But I just always did not. I don't know. I don't want to say I hated them together, but I just didn't ship it. It just didn't vibe. I didn't really like them together. Callie just seemed like her character is super strong and independent and like I don't need anybody type. And then I feel like George's is more like he really depends on his relationships in life, like his friendships, and then trying to find the perfect girl and whatever. So I don't know, I just never really cared for George and Callie's relationship. It was just weird and different to me. George and Izzy ? George and Izzy really were never together. I know that George cheated on Callie with Izzy. It was like a drunk night and they did it, and then they thought that they were going to be able to have the same fun together when they were sober, but it just wasn't happening. And I think they were like really trying to discover their feelings for each other, but it just never went anywhere. So it's not really a relationship, but I feel like I wanted to mention it because it was just like this weird couple of episodes. I think it was season 4, where they kind of like were trying to figure out if they liked each other or not, but I don't think they would have been. I think they were just like really, really best friends, and I think if they would have dated, it would have ruined that. And yeah, George and Izzy, I'm so glad that never became a thing. I'm glad that they realized that was just nope, it wasn't happening, and cut it off. Meredith and Derek, obviously. Meredith and Derek, unpopular opinion, up until Mr. McDreamy went to heaven, I really did not like his character. Derek really annoyed me for some reason. His character annoyed the crap out of me, and I just don't really know why. He just did. And Meredith and Derek together used to annoy the crap out of me. Until obviously the later seasons where they figured it out. But when they were figuring it out, it used to annoy me. I used to get annoyed by them, by their relationship, and then by them each individually acting so dumb, like they didn't want to be together. They were trying so hard to be with other people, knowing darn well they didn't want that. They just, I don't know. But Meredith and Derek, one of the infamous couples of Grey's Anatomy. Then we have Meredith and the vet. I can't remember his name. I cannot remember the vet's name. I just remember they had a dog. Meredith, when they all lived in Meredith's old house, they had a dog. I think his name was Doc. And I remember when he got sick, and Meredith kind of like bonded with the vet and whatever, and they kind of like had a thing for a while, and she was like trying to pick between Derek and the vet, and I don't know. I don't really have much to say about the vet because I don't remember much about him. I just know that she kind of had a thing with him. Christina and Burke. I couldn't remember. I'm one of the type of people, I don't like to do research. I just like to go off memory. I couldn't remember all of Christina's relationships, but I'm pretty sure her like actual in-depth relationships, she's only had 2 on the show, and that was Burke and Owen. And Burke, that whole situation was just so weird to me, like especially their marriage situation. I mean, he was trying so hard to kind of just accept her for who she was, to marry her. And I think he finally realized, like, I just can't do this. Like, I've had to, like, Christina just is one of those people that I feel like she should just not be in a relationship at all, because she's not selfish, but she's self-driven. She's doing everything to make sure that her inner peace is what she wants it to be, and she doesn't care if it's a friend, if it's a relationship. She's not gonna let anybody disturb that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But don't be in a relationship, because then you're going to have to kind of sacrifice parts of yourself. And she was never really willing to do that. And I think Burke tried so hard to just accept her for who she was, because he really loved her, but realized, like, the day leading up to the wedding, unfortunately, but it is a drama series, so it kind of had to go that way. You know, if this is what it's like living with you before we're married, I don't know if we really should be married. So, yeah. Burke and Christina's relationship was different, but it is what it is. Christina's relationships never really worked out, and I think that's just because she was driven by her career. There's nothing wrong with that. And then there was Christina and Owen, and I think that she might have loved Owen more than Burke. I don't know, but it kind of just seemed that way. But also, Owen's character didn't leave the show in the middle of their relationship, or leave her at the altar, so whatever. But Christina and Owen, I did like them together. I mean, he was there for her and a lot of traumatic things that happened while they were together, so which we'll talk about in later videos. But yeah, he was there for her through a lot of traumatic things that she went through on the show. So I think that's kind of what held them together, because they went through a lot of bumps, but I think those traumatic things they went through on the show kind of kept them together. Another relationship that wasn't really my favorite was Alex and Lexi. I was still trying to grieve Izzy leaving the show and Izzy and Alex breaking up, and then when he started dating Lexi, I was just like not a fan. And plus I really wanted Lexi to be with Mark, so it was like this thing where I don't know if you watching this, if you're a Grey's Anatomy fan, if you watched all the episodes, I didn't want Alex to be with Izzy. I didn't want Alex to be with Lexi, and I wanted Lexi to be with Alex. I wanted Lexi to be with Mark, and I wanted Alex to be with Izzy. And Alex and Lexi was just weird to me. Wasn't a big fan of that one. We'll just go ahead and do another Alex relationship. Alex and Lucy. I'm pretty sure she was in season 7. She was like the OB or something like that. I don't think she was the OB. I don't remember what she was. But they dated for a little bit, and they kind of were serious, and then she took a job opportunity to go to Africa, and that squashed their relationship. Alex and Joe, and I loved Alex and Joe together. It was like right up there with Alex and Izzy. It was one of the people I felt like was good for him. They were good for each other, because they started off as really good friends, and I already knew that they were going to end up together. I mean, they were so relatable to each other that there's no way that they weren't going to end up together. And I do love their relationship. A lot of people do not like what the writers did with his character when he left Joe to go be with Izzy. I'm like on both sides with that. I feel like Alex was always meant to be with Izzy, but they didn't have to have him just dump Joe on her butt the way they did, but that's what they did, and there's nothing we can do about it. We have Meredith and Riggs. Nathan Riggs, he was the heart doctor. I wasn't mad at that couple. I liked them together, but what even ever happened to Riggs? I don't even remember him leaving the show. The one that just didn't make the most sense to me was Meredith and DeLuca. I don't understand what the heck. That I never saw coming for sure. But that one kind of caught me the most by surprise. Besides two people who aren't the original interns that we're dating that we're going to talk about later if we do a part 2. But Meredith and Andrew DeLuca, that was just something I never saw coming. And I hated it at first, but then, I realized, I was trying to be a supportive friend to Meredith, and well, if that's what you want, then I was supported. But I wasn't a fan of it at first. It was almost really cringe to me. Just kind of up there with kind of up there with George and Callie. I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this. But it wasn't terrible. It was just not what I thought. And then I have some theories about Meredith in the current seasons. Season 19 coming up. I have some theories for where her character is going to go. But I'm reading something the other day that said she's only going to be in a few episodes of season 19. So I don't really know how that's going to go. But who knows. That's it. That's all the couple breakdowns of the 5 interns. There's probably some I might have forgot, but those were like the big main ones I feel like most people think of. But if there's anything you want to add, you can comment it below. And if you want to see a part 2 where we talk about the rest of the couples of the show, then let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'm going to try to upload a breaking down Grey's Anatomy video every week. I don't know if I should post it on Thursdays or what, but we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your favorite and least favorite couple is from Grey's Anatomy that we talked about in this video. We'll talk about it in the comments. But that's it. Peace.